Are we back? I'm back. Nope. Uh-oh. Still dropping frames, but looks stable now. Looks okay. Got some green bars. Okay. Nope. Frames are no longer dropping. We should be good. Hopefully. Let's see how we go. We're back. Sorry. Beat the cat. Three ones. That's fine. We'll just reroll them. They're not gonna get worse. Okay, algae is regrowing. For a moment. Focus on scrap. Let's check out this cordon first. Is there an engineer action? No, that'd be too easy. Let's put 5s and 6s in here. At least one a day. Because it's going to have more stuff to do after. For sure. Whiskies just lose energy. I don't want to be too crazy with energy. I'll do it twice. Come on, 50-50. Nope. Oh well. Not much better. Better condition on that is loose condition, which is really bad. This is just loose energy. I can't do with a 5. Get some more algae growth. Then we've got a 1 and a 2. Oh, you know what? Fucking scrappers are probably back. Oh, I missed those ones. Oops. But that's pretty cheap for some scrap. Except when we get fucking ship mine fragments we don't need. Who buys the fragments? You buy the fragments. It gives me 30, so net profit. Okay. Let's work in the bar. I want to finish this up. What's a good service give me? Hey, Tyler! The Girol slides from the bottle into the lumpy recycled glass, pale grassy yellow under the overlook's warm lights. Isn't that a mushroom? Huh? The spacer nods and takes the drink, bringing it up to their face in both hands like an offering bowl. I think it's a drink named after a mushroom. This is the good stuff. Stuff Tyler says is Asian wooden casks stored in some closed-off part of the old station, among corroded wires and softly looping systems. Though sometimes it is hard to tell if Tyler is joking. Either way, you like pouring this stuff. It gets in your fingers, and if you rub them together you can smell the mossy drink, cut through with aniseed, mushrooms, wood, as the alcohol evaporates. You like those who order it too. The aged Girol is kept beneath the bar, open to order only by those who know it's there, like the quiet spacer sitting at the bar window right now. Busy yourself. You pull a rag from your overalls and wipe down the bar, the Girol smell lifting, then disappearing into the stale station air. The overlook is quiet this cycle. The salvage is busy offloading. The regulars likely at the ore exchange or queuing for work at the Havenist shipyards. You're in the right mood for a quiet shift. Some cycles drag along, the overlook empty and claustrophobic, but this one has caught you just right, and in this moment some kind of calm has descended on as you tinker away at the bar, lining up the bottles as your thoughts expand to fill the space. Suddenly you hear a heavy clunking at the door. It creaks open, and a huge cylindrical metal tank tumbles through, slamming into the floor. Shit! Tala breezes in from behind it. A whirl of hair and bright eyes. Shit, shit, shit! Tala? Sleeper! She ducks behind the bar and comes over. Can you help me with this? You look at the huge metal tank suspiciously. Sure. I'm coming. You come around the bar and get to one side of the tank. Okay, says Tala. On my count. 1, 2, 3. Ugh! You both heave the tank up to standing. Somehow. You hold it in place, struggling to keep it steady. Tala? In the back, comes a voice from behind the tank. Somehow, you manage to lug the huge thing into the back room, where you place it in one corner, dwarfing the rest of the contents in a cramped space. As you do, you hear a crunch. You stand back and look at the expired rations oozing out from under the tank. Oh shit. Tala looks at you apologetically. I know you like those. It's fine. You push the crushed rations to one side. That's the end of that. Tala looks exhausted and rubs her shoulders. Francis, I swear to... It's Francis. Francis! I mentioned him already. My guy on the door. Deals with supplies. Tall. He sighs. He was supposed to be back from Etienne's in the Greenway by now. Back with our Grurol. He leans against the tank. Seems like he's got lost again. We'll join the Haifa commune. You also want mushrooms? We need that, Grurol. Ah, yeah. Too many people want my mushrooms. There's 4 other bars near here, and the spaces sure as hell don't come to the Overlook for the ambience. She looks through the open door to check if anyone can hear her. She knocks on the hollow tank. So I'm taking matters into my own hands. She smiles. Welcome, Sleeper, to the Overlook Distillery. You look around the dank back room. You must be choked. You need some work. She picks at some paint flaking from the metal walls. Well, I might need some help, though. She shrugs. You up for it? She knocks on the tank again. It'll be fun. Am I getting paid for it? Happy to help. Okay, she grabs you by the shoulders. I'm excited. She turns around and looks at the tank. I reckon we chop this thing in half. One half for fermentation, the other we turn into a still. We'll also need to gather the ingredients. She turns back and looks at you. You look more like a chopper than a gatherer. She smiles. How about you build the still and tub while I work on the rest? Oh, wait, Sleeper, I have an idea. Tala is grinning now and it's making you nervous. To make up for the rations, how about we put a kitchen in here too? Will it fit? We'll make it work. She turns back to the tank. This is going to be great, she says to herself. You look at the dented tank and the bare room. And at least she has vision. Tala nudges you out of the back room and closes the door. As you go back to the bar, you hear the banging and thumping again. Spacer finishes up their drink and nods in your direction as they leave. You can't quite tell if it's a gesture of sympathy or good luck. So much for a quiet shift. New drive discovered. Build a kitchen and a still. Prove the Overlook. Engineer actions. It probably means scrap, which is good. I'll throw a 2 in there. See what do we get. Alright. Alright. How many... I've only got 2, right? Yeah. Fire is steadily dropping. Oh fuck, I forgot to fucking... Yeah, shit. Okay, now just be ready. Great. For 13 cryo, I'm pretty sure that only gives me 2 food points. 2 energy, which is not as good value. My best boy Empress. Thank you, darling. Okay, back home. We are self-prepared to the point where we'll get another dice tomorrow? Yes. Okay, start with self-repair. And feed stray. And then get to work. Also got to remember to be doing this. Risky, can lose energy. Less risky. Also does energy stuff. Over here, it's interface, so we can get cryo back. One. Take the risk. Fuck. Too risky. Got a bit of cryo for one at least. What was that? That's that. Okay, that makes sense. Pretty good dice to start with. Let's focus on this first. And 2 more, which I can get like this, guaranteed easy. That's that done. Oh, there's so many things. Ooh, food though? Okay, we can deflect suspicion, remove some haven of suspicion. It's engage action and it's safe. Gain or lose some suspicion. We need 6 points of tug escort, which we worked on by convincing a crew. With division rife among the tug crews, gaining support for a supply shipment will just be a case of picking the right crew and approaching them discreetly. Okay. Coordinate operations. And then have suspicion is probably for the entire area. Sabotage sensors. Some careful sabotage to the coordinate systems would create a sensor gap that will allow the Briar to bypass the automatic quarantine systems. Also needs 6 points. Right, upgrade also needs 6 points. But that's engineer, so that might get me some scrap from that. Like that. We use a 4 on one of these. What else we got going on that we can use a 4 on? Food. Add stack, I need 1 more point. Yep. It is only gonna go well for me. Probably. Okay, food done. Reroll. Not fantastic. You're leaning against the metal crates you just loaded up with algae, packed and dried into bright green pucks. As she hops onto one beside you, flexing her aching back. If the refugees like algae. She squints at you, as if you've just interrupted her train of thought. It's a look you've become familiar with. Doesn't matter either way. This is what we've got. She sighs, rubbing the back of her neck. In these past cycles, working the algae stack with Eshi, you've had little insight into her mind. She rarely seems happy to start a conversation, but is always eager to end one. Despite this, you feel like something has grown between you. Something like silent trust. The kind that tends to seed itself in the fertile soil of hard but necessary work. Concerned? As she laughs. You could say that. She turns to face you. I think I'd be stupid to not be concerned about all this. She's right, of course. Though it's hard to focus your concerns on one thing in particular. Can the refugees survive on the flotilla? What are Havenage doing to help them? The quarantine is lifted. Is the Eye really in danger? Each worry is far too large to even begin to process, to judge, and they mesh with each other. More personal worries until you feel the anxiety growing in your chest. You look at Eshi, and are suddenly eager to speak. Talk about something, anything, rather than just sitting and feeling like this growing weight. Why'd you escape XPR? Eshi pauses, her protective instinct fighting with the trust you've built. You can see her begin to shrug the question off, and then she stops, rethinks, and sighs. What you need to understand, Sleeper, is that Erlen's Eye wasn't the only place where Solheim collapse happened. Sure, Hawthorne, where we grew up, was an XPR installation, but that didn't screen it from our Solheim going under. Actually, Solheim was the only reason XPR were ever there. They're here. She pauses, hesitant to get into the whole story, but wanting to offer something. She flinches, correcting herself. They are a service corp. You understand? They set up outposts in surrogate systems like this to offer refueling, logistics, and maintenance services to bigger companies with extraction contracts. He gestures to the Eye around her, like Solheim. When Solheim went bust, XPR lost their client. And Hawthorne, well, we lost everything. We became an outpost tasked with just holding on. Keep the refueling platforms running, they said. Keep the outpost stable. Hold on to our claim. She rubs at her head, as if recalling all this was somehow physically painful. You know what it's like to spend your entire life in a place with no future? A place that exists only to hold a legal claim to a piece of territory? To shore up breach of contract negotiations between two corporations? It's like living in a... She searches for the word, her eyes jumping back and forth. Brave. She clenches her hands. So if you're looking for the answer to why questions, that's your answer. We, Peak and I, know what it's like to be forgotten, to be locked out. She stares hard at the side of the stack, the algae walling against the glass in beautiful patterns. She doesn't look away. Silence extends, and you realize the conversation is over. And she seems angry, not at you, but with herself, for even voicing such ideas. After a while, you stand and start to load the crates onto the powered cargo trolley, and as she will return back to the Briar. As you do, you try to catch her eye. She avoids it, soothing herself instead with the comforting simplicity of physical work. Okay, water and food done. Scrap well on the way. Oh, dearie me. What's the least dangerous? This is just risky. I think this is also risky. Risky where the risk is some money versus risky where the risk is suspicion. Although our cryo is dropping steadily, I'll have to buy food today. think I can drop a 4 there. Okay. Now, the 2... Oh shit, time is running out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How are mushrooms doing? Good, but got more important things to focus on. Let's, instead of buying food, use this to on getting some energy. Signed work in the canteen, blah blah blah. Is it darker than usual? These dice are for real dog shit. Let's reroll all that. Oh! Very nice. Much better. Give me some scrap. Give me some scrap! Come on. Uh-oh. Okay. Go buy some mushrooms from Amphis. A lovely mushroom stir fry. Probably. Yeah, spice fungus is one of the few things potent enough to stimulate your limited taste senses. It's incredible stuff. Not going to use scrap today. Oh. A drone. A rapid burst of movement catches your attention. A drone, its fins adjusting as it hovers in place, floats in the corridor. A wall? The drone shifts a little but does not respond. The drone buzzes closer, and a voice gurgles out of its speaker. Ooh. Distorted and strange. Sleeper, come to the cordon. We need to speak. Sure thing, peek. The drone clicks and whirs and the recording starts playing again. Sleeper, come to the cordon. We need to speak. I'll inspect that drone. You move closer and the drone bobs away to a safe distance. But as it does, you see the ha! The HA of Havenage emblazoned outside. Must be Feng's drone? Satisfied it has delivered its message, the drone rotates and accelerates away as rapidly as it arrived. You stare at it as it disappears from sight, hoping for some insight that escapes you. To the cordon then. Is it Feng's drone? As you enter the passage that leads through the cordon, a flash of movement catches your eye. The drone. It stops to make sure you've seen it, and then flits into a side passage, leading to a set of narrow stairs. You climb up through a dark shaft, the drone stopping at each landing to check you are following. Despite its lack of expression, there's something overbearing about the way the drone waits, impatiently realigning its fins in sequence. After a long climb, you come out onto an observation platform. The cordon and the vast, ramshackle refugee ships beyond fill your vision. Scale seems impossible, and immediately you feel small and naive for even thinking you could affect the situation. Something shifts nearby. The drone again? Hi, Helene. A woman is standing at the window, at the edge of your vision. You aren't surprised you didn't notice her. She too seems impossibly small in the shadow of the flotilla. The drone buzzes by her shoulder and she turns. Sleeper, sorry for all the cloak and dagger nonsense. She nods at the drone. But I have never regretted being cautious. She smiles a tight smile and holds out a hand. I'm Helene. Hi, Helene. How you doing? Take a hand. The tight smile holds, but the drone keeps its single eye fixed on you. The effect is a little unnerving. Look. She glances around the empty observation deck as if checking for potential eavesdroppers. Let's be straight with each other. I know about your plans. And she cuts in before you can respond. I understand your motives. You look at her in her overalls, the yellow markers, the HA sigil. You've been on the eye long enough to recognize a Havenage member when you see them. Stay silent. She glances around nervously again and moves a little closer. This entire situation, I'm not here to defend it. She glances back at the flotilla. No one is happy about this. Sleeper, tell me something. What does Havenage mean to you? Yeah, probably a Hayden thing. Harden is a dickhead kind of thing. Squints at you. That was unfortunate. But you should know it was one of our own who exposed Harden, and that has been dealt with. Havenage are used to being criticized. In some ways we invite it. Our members are free to bring up grievances at any meeting, to propose new structures and approaches. She shifts her weight impatiently. As a councillor, it is my duty to listen to them. That is why I was elected by the members. We are an imperfect system, yes, and each councillor, each member, each representative can be flawed. And worse. She looks down. But we keep this place running. That is what we do. And non-members? There are paths to membership, and we cannot force everyone on the station to join us. What do you expect? We're an association of individuals. We cannot always account for the needs of those outside that structure. Turns and looks out at the flotilla. No matter how much we wish to. Can the Eye take in thousands of refugees safely? I don't know. This place is a ruin, Sleeper. What do you think the council discusses? The price of Gerol? We make plans to keep this place spinning, to keep life support working, to ensure... Helene's slate chirps and a grim look passes across her face as she sees a notification. She looks tired, and the screen light casting her rigid expression in a pale glow. Sleeper, I didn't bring you here to explain how Havenage works. You came to talk about your plan to cross the cordon, breach the quarantine and supply the flotilla. She looks directly at you. I'm gonna play dumb. She smiles. Please, I don't have time for games. I know you think you're helping the flotilla, but you cannot do this. Right now, halfway along the ring, one of a countless series of debates are being held. These debates are to evaluate the potential harm that could be caused if the refugees of the flotilla are left to enter the station. These debates are at a standstill. Helene walks to the window. Too many in the Havenage Council think of the flotilla as a threat. After recent events, a hardline group has emerged. Protective, selfish. They seek only to benefit the members. In their mind, the flotilla is a danger to life on the Eye. If you're caught crossing the cordon and breaching the quarantine, it will only strengthen the hardline councillor's case. Criminals who stole a ship from XPR undermining the security of the station? She shakes her head. It's exactly what they want. Well, the refugees need the supplies. They do, and that's exactly what I want to give them. But unless the quarantine is lifted through a fair process, they will never get them. Sighs deeply. And those ex-XPR spaces you're running with? Sleeper, do you know anything about them? Well, then I know about you. Fucking Helene. He looks at you pleadingly. Let's change that, Sleeper. You gonna tell me about yourself? Nope, you're gonna tell me about them. Why do you think the refugee flotilla came here now? Something is happening in the system. Something is pushing people out of colonies and outposts that have survived since Solheim collapse. We need to be ready for whatever is coming. Ready to protect the Eye. I know the Eye means something to you. I know there's a reason you're still here. Help me protect it. Helene fixes you with a strong look. Persuade those spaces that this is the wrong move. They will get caught and the flotilla will be locked down. That Havenage will be delivered into those with the worst instincts. Forget this suicidal supply run with people you barely know. Help me fight for the Eye. Why don't you stop them? I won't betray them. Helene looks away. But you will betray your home. Don't offer up the excuse the hardliners need to lock the flotilla out altogether. To persuade the members they are the safest pair of hands. Looks at you imploringly. Please. You look back at her and the flotilla behind, and sense a desperation in her plea. A notification breaks the silence. Shit! She rapidly scrolls through pages of data. Sleeper, I need to go. She looks torn. Think about this, please. Talk to the spacers. Help them see reason. And she quickly leaves the observation deck before you have time to respond. You stay for a moment, watching the lights of the tugs in the flotilla, and wonder what it feels like to be out in one of those ships, so close to your destination, and yet so far from it. And then you think of the Havenage Council chamber, across the eye, where the right of these people to find safety is being debated. You shiver, and then you two are gone, back into the stairwell and the cold dark below. 3 days for this anyway. Is not many. I feel like, narratively, we gotta try the plan. I'm gonna do everything I can to get it to work, and then deal with the consequences after. Of course. I'll put a 1. The commune, get some energy back. It doesn't cost prior. Down on my last 200. Ooh, love to see that much yellow. Uh-oh. Sleeper. Peak is waiting for you when you leave, but they look different. Pale, drawn out. You need to come up to the Briar, now. Don't be right. What's happened? Not here, Peak hisses. Come to the ship. We'll be waiting. Peak walks away. Don't take long. This couldn't have been an email. And with that, they disappear around the corner, leaving you anxious and confused. What's up, buddy? Not this one. As you walk into the Climbing Briar's cavernous bay, now filled with crates and containers, Eshi's waiting for you. In front of her, sliced open, with its insides scattered across the top of a heavy-duty crate, is an object you recognize. Helene's drone. Freeze. Come in, quick! Peak nudges you into the bay, looking behind you before sealing the entryway. You have to start being careful. It's a bit late for that. You move closer to the container, your eyes on the drone splayed out in pieces. Some parts of it hooked up to a slate that Peak picks up and begins tapping away at. Eshi looks up from the dissection. You caught it buzzing around nearby, heading for the ship. She leans over and taps the HA signal on one of the removed pieces of plating. The Havenage spy. We think we got it before it sent data back, but we can't be sure. Peak looks at you nervously. Eshi cuts in. Have you noticed anyone watching you? Any drones like this? Anyone following you up to the Briar? I've seen this drone. Following you? Yes, I met its owner. Eshi pauses for a while, Peak looking between the two of you. Explain, Sleeper, Eshi says quietly. Tell him about Helene. I'm not going to keep secrets. You explain that you met with Helene at the Cordon, and you tell Eshi and Peak about what she told you. That the Havenage Council are debating lifting the quarantine, but they are blocked by the Hardliners. You speak faster and faster, but before you can finish, Essie walks away in anger, and then comes back again, her eyes burning. What is this, Sleeper? Have you understood nothing from what we've told you? She paces in front of you. Havenage are not your friends. They're administrators, which means they are interested only in their own power, in survival, their own causes. Okay, not necessarily. They divide people as easily as sorting livestock. The greater good of their work demands it. The wider project of the station, the colony, the nation. Her eyes are wide as she speaks, her anger barely contained. Can't say I didn't have a choice. She wants to help. She laughs. Help what, Sleeper? Undo the mess of her own creation? She only wishes to placate you, so you'll compromise. So you'll do what is acceptable, not what is right. She's trying. She's just a counselor. She's trying. Let me tell you something, Sleeper, as she says, her rage hardening into pain. When people become administrators, they give up something. Some part of being human, being an equal among others, goes away. They start talking about the greater good, the systems, the ways in which their hands are tied, or their processes compromised. My mother was the administrator of Hawthorne, and I've seen what it did to her. That noble higher calling, it's toxic. People should never have the chance to decide the fate of others. And those that do so at a cost to their humanity. You're trying to decide some fates. Peak tries to cut in, but as she holds up a hand. Don't start, Peak. Don't ask me to be reasonable or calm down. Thousands of people are desperate out there. Being reasonable will only prolong their suffering. You can help. Okay, here's the decision point. And she turns away. I'm done with this. You're risking this entire supply run just by being here. She walks back into the bay and starts checking the straps on the crates. I go next cycle. We don't need you anymore. Get out. No, the plan's not finished. Sleeper. Peak looks torn. You have to understand, this is personal for Eshi. Clean want me. It's personal. I know. We talked about it. I don't know, Sleeper. I just don't know what to do. You glance around the Bay of Briar. The walls seeming closer every second. This whole thing is closing in on you. And the question is, where do you want to be when it all collapses? You look at Peak. And what do you think, Sleeper? Peak rubs their forehead. Should we do this thing or not? I don't know. That depends. Are you going tomorrow or the day after tomorrow? Will I have time in the morning tomorrow to do actions? Because otherwise, the plan's not going to work. No, don't do it tomorrow. I was worried you were going to say that. To be honest with you, Sleeper, I'm not sure how we got here. I mean, I know what we did, but it's not. It's like the universe shifted under us. One moment we were escaping Hawthorne, and now we're here. And I have no idea what's coming. I look at Eshi. You see her? I look back at you. She knows how we got here. She's driving this thing forward and she... They pause. She saved my life. So if your answer is no, I'm going to need you to stand back and get out of her way. Because wherever she goes, that's where I'll follow. Put so many dice into setting this up. Yeah, right. And help us, Sleeper. Finish this. We're so close. I look at you expectantly. Okay, I'm gonna try and see what happens. Okay then, they squeeze your shoulder. Onward. They slip away to help Eshi, leaving you alone to replay the conversation in your head. A certain kind of grim determination settling in the room. Last chance to prepare. Well, fuck. And I don't have enough scrap. And all this shit isn't ready yet. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fuck. As long as I get to do actions tomorrow morning, it's fine. But I know this fucking game. No, hang on. It's 2 days until we go. Are you gonna fucking do it early? Okay. Briar upgraded. You managed to hit the hangar during a shift change, and the whole place is empty. You come away with a thruster set with little effort. Oh, this is gonna be weird. Ordering. Pete grins as you pile the ion thruster sets onto the motorized trolley in a derelict loading bay. I borrowed this from Eshi. I barely know how it works. I seem giddy at the idea of stealing the ship off from Havenage. Isn't it just a trolley? Big glass. I guess so. I just find physical technology a bit intimidating. To help you heave the thruster into position. My speciality was computer systems. I mostly worked on keeping the protocols that ran the refueling systems from totally. Okay, let's have a drink and try it again. My specialty was computer systems. I mostly worked on keeping the protocols that ran the refueling platforms from totally decaying due to lack of use. There's a load of platforms in orbit of the moon Hawthorne is on, and Cinder itself. Eshi and I ended up having to head out to them regularly to work on them. Sounds like hard work. That's a lot of hard work. Are you kidding? He smiles. That was the best job at Hawthorne. You get assigned a ship, you get to leave the colony for a bit. So much better than outpost maintenance or canteen work. The only reason we got assigned it was that Eshi's mother is the administrator of Hawthorne, and Eshi managed to get my name on the list too. He looks for the trolley's ignition. Eshi's always saving me. I find the switch and hit it, and the trolley starts whining. Peak looks at the thrusters. Eshi will install these. The Briar is her baby, really. Peak looks toward the bay exit. Truth be told, I was surprised she could bring herself to take it from her mother. Losing a ship? That has to have hurt the colony. What's her mother like? Tough. You'd have to be to keep control of a services outpost with no services to provide. Peak looks away. It's a tough place overall, Hawthorne. And Eshi's mom? She likes it that way. Sorry, her mom. She's mom. She likes it that way. Peak shuffles the trolley out of the bay into the corridor. They'll manage without the Briar. No choice. Peak smiles. And I have to admit, I'd love to have seen her face when she saw we had gone. Peak pauses. Don't tell Eshi I said that. They walk on quietly, lost in their memories of Hawthorne. Okay, I think I can manage the rest. Peak brushes their hair out of their face. You've done more than enough this cycle. He looks over the thrusters. Once these are fitted, the Briar will handle better than ever. You might even get a thank you from Eshi. Peak laughs. I doubt it. Not the way that last scene went. I head off into the corridor, the trolley whining its high-pitched whine. See you soon. Why is that still there? No reason. Okay, this one as well. 2 points here. Carefully code a timed emergency maintenance program to take out some of the sensors on the cycle Eshi is planning to make her run. Peak is waiting for you when you slip out of the operations center, nervously poking at their small slate. Sleeper, they hiss. I followed what you were doing on the network. Incredible work. How do you do that? Comes naturally. Peak smiles. I can't tell if that's modesty or just the truth. Interfacing skills like that? It's almost worth being... Stop themselves. Sorry, I didn't mean... Don't worry about it. Big nods. Sorry. You and Peak quietly. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Oh, gotta get lost. I'm gonna go have some sleep for right now. No, I gotta finish this. I'm gonna go to work today. Are you kidding? Oh. You and Peak quietly slip into the main walkway and work your way back to the public areas of the cordon. Havenedge has had to quickly respond to the flotilla's arrival, and that means a lot of contractors and spacers walking through these corridors. You blend in easily enough. Haven't really met a sleeper before, Peak begins, as you might have guessed. Smile nervously. Hawthorne is an XPR service outpost, and since the collapse, no one came for refueling or repairs anymore. So my generation has never met anyone outside the company. We heard about sleepers, they nod in your direction, from the data packets that come through from XPR every once in a while. They usually contain news along with the corporate propaganda, but the reports were light on the details. S and ARP have kept the sleeper program pretty quiet anyway, and I think XPR are only interested in telling their employees about it because it made living in our company town look like a good life in comparison to being a piece of corporate property. Alright, dickhead. I'm right here. They freeze. Sorry, I don't mean... They look down. I'm just not sure how to talk about this stuff. Don't. Neither do I. But I'm not alone. I'll shut up about it now. You walk on a little further, the walkway becoming busier. You both relax a little more and go with the flow of people. I just want to say, I think I understand. They begin again. Clearly this has been on their mind. I understand the need to escape, to get free of it all. They laugh at themselves. The structures of the systems, the company horizons in a company town. They stare ahead. Small places, small corridors, small people. They look away. The slow death it brings. Small places, small corridors, small people. Slow death it brings. That's it. They turn to you. I get why you signed up to be a sleeper, and why you escaped from that too. Sure. Stay silent. Pink looks away. There's altogether too much running through your head. Too much to say. You walk in silence again. Each of you in their own thoughts, but moving together through space nonetheless. After a while, you come to the entrance to the cordon, where handfuls of workers and crews filter in and out through two huge loading bay doors. Pink stops. Okay. I'm heading back to the Briar. Once again, incredible work on the sensors. That blind spot you created, that should give us a real advantage. See you soon. They head off, disappearing into the crowd almost immediately, outrunning their own nervousness. Okay, alright, okay. Ooh, that's not good. %25 chance to get fucked. But if we run the numbers... Well, okay, no, we don't need that much. If we do have tomorrow available, and if she doesn't make the run early, I should be able to do this. I can also re-roll this. A 4 is better than a 3. Don't fuck me. Okay. Hopefully Peak can cool her down a bit and she doesn't run. Oh, but then I also need the scrap. Well, it's not a disaster if we don't get scrap. I guess I could have not repaired myself and used a stabilizer. Then I would have had less dice overall. I don't know. We'll stay near them. Okay. If I don't use a scrap here, I need an extra 4. 2 dice in here will leave me with 3 dice. I don't suppose the scrappers are back. Oh, pardon me. Or it's the same ones from before? Yeah. Already done these, but these ones are back. No, these are not back for 2 more days, it's too late. Okay, can't get scrap. Scrap is just not happening. So... Oh, hang on, what about... Isn't one of these... There's a shop as well? I think it's just for selling. Yeah, buy a Shipmine core and... Or do some other stuff. Nope, okay. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I fucking didn't repair again, damn it. Okay, they didn't actually leave that day, so we're good to do this. We're just not going to get the scrap done. You notice the crew sat apart from the others. Apparently, they've been discussing smuggling supplies through the cordon themselves. You meet Peak leaning in a corner of the canteen in their typically unassuming way. It occurs to you, as you approach, that Peak must have had some practice at staying invisible. All good? They look up from their slate. That crew you were talking to. They nod to the group leaving the canteen. Will they join us? They'll do it. Nicely done. Peak beckons for you to follow as they peel off the wall and head out into the walkway overlooking the cordon. Glad you were here to talk them into it. I never had much of a way with people. Peak smiles and looks away quickly as you walk. You and Ashley seem to do okay. Peak laughs, their light and easy laugh. Ashley's not really like other people, which you've probably noticed. Only everyone was like Eshy. Are you sure? They fade off, something drawing their attention. What I mean is, people have caused me a lot of trouble. I've had people hate me without knowing a thing about me. They tuck their hair behind an ear. I'm sure you know the feeling. Yep. Fuck you, Ethan. Pete glances at you. Sorry to hear that. It marks you, am I right? I'm trying to think about it. Don't let me make that any harder. Pete leads you around the corner, heading back to the main cordon accessway. I appreciate you coming in and helping us out in the sleeper. I'm talking to the crew and, well, you know. Maybe after this insane plan is done, we can talk properly. They keep looking ahead, and you realize they're nervous. Sure. I'd like that. Peak smiles, looking down at their feet. That's settled then, they say to the floor. I'd better report the news to Ashley. We have ourselves a tug escort. Peak stops at an intersection. See you soon, Sleeper. And please, take care. And with that, they drift away. They head down, their gait changing as they do. Their practice invisibility shrouding them like a cape. Okay. If this weren't a video game, I could give them some scrap and it would count. But I need all 8 to fill that bar, so that's not going to change the math, I don't think. Do we roll 3s? I think we roll 3s. Fuck! Yep, alright. Should have expected that. That's a job. This is also money, I think. Oh, it's just that. It's Castor stuff. What's the tea house? Sell some data. Do some gambling. Beat the cat. Okay. Just get some more cryo. Shit, where did I sell the cryo? Campbell? Yes. Alright, the heavy data, I mean. 10 each, I think, so that's another 90. It's gonna take a while. Tea House enforces signals for a hacker to come out for the upload. Their eyes widen as the data streams into their system. Oh, yeah, I fucked up. I definitely could have been buying more scrap over the course of the game. Especially I forgot that 200. Where's the other one go? Yeah. Okay, I should have more time to pick stuff up. Maybe? It depends. Some cycle things do it immediately when you wake up. Some of them you have to go click on. Let's find out. Sick. Okay, I think. Until I leave the room. Okay. Moment of truth. Fuck. Yeah, okay. He's gone, Sleeper. Peek's breath wasn't shaking. She started the run without us. I haven't given you the scrap yet! Fuck! Let's go. If we head to the cordon now, Peek starts back up the corridor. They turn back. She has to make it, Sleeper. She has to. A shiver runs down your spine. Eshi, hope you know what you're doing. Shit, damn, fuck. Ah, fuck you, drive failed. Why is the drive failed? Never had a chance? Alright. I scoped out a safe path the whole way, so hopefully it should be good. You arrive, frantic and anxious at the cordon. Peek is nowhere to be seen. And you hear footsteps, hammering on the metal stairway Helene's drone led you through before. The one that leads up to the observation deck. You leap up the stairs, 2 at a time, and make it to the top, momentarily blinded by the light pouring into the observation deck. Sleeper. Peek emerges from the light. I know she's trying to protect me, but... What was she thinking? I could have given you more scrap! She was always planning this. I know it. I turn away. How could I have not seen it coming? There she is. Peek rushes to the wide window, leaning forward to catch a glimpse of the Climbing Briar's blue XPR livery against the black of the void. Livery? It means livery. You spot the Climbing Briar, a glint of blue and white, and beside it the red glare of a tug's lights. Fuck through wind with her. Peek smiles. I knew they'd keep their word. That'll help. Peek doesn't seem to hear you, but the idea of the crew backing Ashley up makes you smile. Maybe this thing will work. You watch as the Briar and its tug escort arc down towards the edge of the cordon, demarcated by the red lights of the perimeter system. So far, so good. The Briar will just look like another refugee ship being escorted to the cordon. At least, at a glance. Peek grips the rail as Eshi reaches the edge of the cordon. That invisible net of sensors splayed between ships and drones. Now let's hope the blind spot triggered. The blind spot that was set up to work at a specific time. Oops. You think back to the mess of systems you had to wade through to set it up. The delicate contingencies you set up to trigger the sensor blackout at just the right moment. Without noise, without ceremony, the Briar slides through the cordon. You await the flickering of alarm lights, the swarming of drones, but nothing. Just another cycle, just another ship. And she's in. Both you and Peek let out the breath you've been holding and laugh. How'd she do it? Peek smiles, shaking their head. We did it. Peek smiles wider. Yes, we did. I laugh. Oh, I did. You feel a little shaky from the tension. Peek's ease helps you settle. You imagine Eshe, steely-eyed in the pilot seat of the Briar, searching for a place to dock. Maybe being stubborn has its advantages. Or now. Now she finds a place to dock and unload, as quietly as possible. They look out at the flotilla, and then she gets the hell out of there. You and Peek turn back to the window, looking for the Briar again amongst all those souls. Calm fading as new worries settle in. You spot the Briar first, this time, docking with the largest of the flotilla's ships. A vast converted tanker, half of its protective plates removed. You think about the effort it must have taken to get that thing all the way here from the inner system. You watch the Briar, unable to get any sense of progress on its placid exterior. They're uploading everything now, he says, both assuring you and themselves that everything is going to plan. You think of all the supplies loaded into the Briar, and how long the process of unloading them might take. It wasn't everything Eshi had wanted, or perhaps everything the flotilla needed, but it was the best you could do with the time you had. I could have made it, Eshi, if you waited a fucking hour. You think of the reaction of the refugees, of the welcome and thanks they'll give Eshi as the bearer of such gifts. You focus on that as you watch the Briar, and continue the nervous wait for it to finish unloading. It's breaking off, Peak points at the Briar, and you see the puff of air and dust that accompanies an emergency depressurization. Eshi must have ended things early, but why? You can't come back. Then you see them, the tugs closing in on the Briar. Haven Edge must have spotted the ship. You and Peak are up against the window again, willing the Briar a safe path out of the flotilla. Suddenly, the Briar shifts in space, a blue blur between two hulls. Peak whistles. Sorry. Ah, fuck. My lips are too dry. Talking too much. Jones, can you give a whistle for me? No? Okay. Thanks anyway, sweet boy. Look at that. They smile at you. Looks like those upgrades we put together work. You watch as Eshi cuts through the crowded flotilla, the tugs not daring to follow her dangerous path, and peeling away. It is hard to keep track of the Briar, and suddenly you both you and Peak are searching the black for a sign. Where is she gone? And all of a sudden, she's out, blue against the black, pulling away from the cordon on a wide arc back towards the station. Clean run. Well, don't do that. That's most likely to get you caught. Peak cheers and smiles at you. We did it! She's out! They beam uncontrollably at you. The tension released. You find yourself smiling too. Smiling at these two beautiful idiots and their beautiful ship. Then Peak is hugging you, squeezing you with all the nervous energy that had been building. Thank you, Sleeper. We did this together. Mostly me. They step back, still smiling. We did something. But mostly me. Come on, they rush out of the observation deck. Let's meet her. Complete +1 upgrade point. Hey, Eshi, you idiot! You and Peak rush into the Briar, finding yourselves now in the now empty bay. The change is a reminder of what you achieved, and looking around, you feel all the more satisfied. I'm so fucking annoyed about missing the scrap. A hiss sounds at the far end of the bay, and Eshi enters, looking exhausted. Yeah, I could have made it by letting it tick down to right here and then using a stabilizer instead. Peak runs up to embrace her. She sits down on the bay floor before they reach her. You did it, they sit beside her. Eshi, you were incredible. She smiles a small smile at this, laying her head on Peak's shoulder. You suddenly feel like you're intruding, seeing the two of them like this, quiet and content. Sleeper, Peak calls. Come on over. Come on over. Yeah. You cross the bay and sit beside them on the hard metal floor. Eshi, Peak asks, did you give the flotilla our chairs? They both burst out laughing at the ridiculousness of it all, at the exhaustion and the worry and everything else. You laugh too. It's impossible not to, and after a while you all come to a stop, Peak wiping their eyes and Eshi shaking their head. You would have loved to see it, Sleeper. Yeah, I would have, Eshi, she says quietly, the welcome I got. What's wrong, developers? Didn't want to draw that many extra new characters. They came to greet the ship once I docked, to offload the supplies. I told them I was coming, of course, as soon as I got inside the cordon. But there were so many. Children, families, they were all smiling at me. They were smiling at me, shaking my hand. Sol was there too, Peak, and he's just as gruff as he sounds over the comms. He smiles. They took it all, crate after crate, until the ship was emptied out. And she looks away. But there were so many, and even with everything we managed to bring, they needed more. They made me promise I would try to come back. Eshi, Peak shakes their head. You know we can't do that twice. She stands up. What are we supposed to do? Wait for them to lift the quarantine? She's angry again, that familiar tension rising in her voice. Peak tries to pull her back down. Sit, Eshi. Rest. You've done enough for today. Don't peek. I know my limits. Eshe hardens. Okay, well, seeing as they didn't catch you, perhaps they will lift it. They know the flotilla poses no danger now, and if they can account for the extra load on the life support. Eshe walks away toward the ladder that leads up to the upper part of the ship. I need to rest, Peek. She holds up her hand. Sleeper. Then she limps up the ladder, step by painful step. I'm afraid if you were expecting a change in Eshe's demeanor, let the ladder rest. Peek nods. I think I need some rest too. They put a hand on your shoulder and get up from the floor. They couldn't have done this without you, Sleeper. And I know those in the flotilla would thank you too. Cheers, bud. Peek limps up the ladder too, leaving you alone on the metal floor of the bay. The thoughts drift to all those people on the flotilla, sleeping and sitting on metal floors like this. Children, families, playing in cargo bays and repurposed fuel tanks. You know their story isn't over yet, and you will look forward to meeting them. Quarantine will lift. You feel more sure of this fact every moment, even though you aren't sure why. You lie back on the metal and stare at the ceiling. What was it Fung told you about what Erlen said? The eye opens for us all. Maybe the old guy was right. A home for the lost. You like the idea of that? Maybe in time, you can help make that a reality. Something is bothering you. A sliver of a thought, like a splinter you can't extract. Why are thousands of refugees coming here now? People don't abandon their homes for nothing. What wave is rushing through the system, and when will it reach the eye? You shudder on the cold metal floor, and get up. Something is coming. You can feel it. This isn't over. Ooh. Oh shit. Is that the thing that's coming? Episode Flux complete. First part of the flotilla's story is complete. Episode Refuge begins when the cycle clock below is filled. Good luck. In 3 days, more shit's gonna happen. That's gonna happen next stream. For now, it's mushrooms. Fucking finally. I should have done this first. Clubhead, Matsutake. Reroll those. Get just worse. I don't want to risk getting dual caps. I can just ignore that for now. Hey. Got just a clubhead. Or a clubhead. Oh, you need 3. Fuck. Oh, of course you do. Well, okay. Someone else wanted Matsutake. Who wanted Matsutake? Sell it, I think it was. Yep, sold 3 for how much? I don't know, let's find out. Oh, 80. It does say it on there. Cool. Big money. Is this back? Yep. Alright, what you got? Oh, you only tell ship over. Okay, that was never an option. How much is this? 32. Full one sells for 150. So 32, 64. Plus randomly get one from the other scrappers. That's probably worth it. Buy low, buy materials, build a core, sell a core. Regret selling to Havenage, the shipmine fragment for 30. Any ones lying around? Actually, you know what? I'll go work at Havenage in the commune. Not Havenage, the other one. Haifa. Work for dinner. Okay, Alright. Nope, I'm in the wrong place. Mushroom. Second one, and I need another one, and I got unlucky. Need another spore. Can I do the trash dice here? Yep. You extract the spores from the sample imprint and mix them in water, then inject them into the head mulch. It is precise work. Okay, mushrooms growing again. How long will that take? 2 days? 4 days? That's too many days. Especially with whatever's going on over here coming up soon. Alright. Made a little bit of progress. Maybe just get some more scrap. What else is going on? We can also work on upgrading the Overlook. Build the still, or just work the bar. And this is engineer, so I might get scrap from this. So this is a good thing to be working on. Roll this, get another 6. Well, scrap chance is not high. That's like 5 engineer actions in a row I didn't get scrap. Bummer. Feed the cat, don't forget to feed the me. Stabilize. Nope, not Tambo. What is it? Where do you go for stabilizer now? I don't know if I can get stabilizer anywhere now. Seven engineer actions with no. 8 with no scrap. If we get lucky, we can just finish this right now. Get lucky! Always go gambling. Hey Tyler, how we go? Tyler stands back from the newly finished steel and tub, hands on hips. Look at this, she wins. The Overlook Distillery in all its glory. She squeezes you around the shoulders. Thank you. How saucy ingredients. Oh my god. I'm fucking gonna regret Matsutake. Selling the Matsutake, I'm gonna be pissed. Tyler smiles. I think I've got most of it covered between the food factories in the low end and the farm stacks on the Greenway. However, there is an issue. What is it? Well, Gerald the drink, as you probably guessed, is named after Gerald the mushroom. That's what gives it that golden color and earthy taste. The alcohol is infused with the mushrooms along with the mix of spices. That means you need Gerald caps to make Gerald, but no one wants to supply us. The distilleries on the Greenway are taking all the stock from the farms out there, so it's hard to get a single cap across the Founders Gap. However, I have an idea. We can grow our own Gerald caps here. She gestures at the increasingly equipment-filled back room. I can bring you mushrooms. Tyler gives you a pitying look. Where's your vision? Any outside supplier means they take a cut. Okay, maybe not you, but someone somewhere takes a cut. Tyler puts a hand on the still. We made a still? We set all this up? How hard can growing mushrooms be? I don't need light. They barely need soil. We can do this. Stay positive. He pauses. Or at least we could, if we had something to grow them from. Like these spores here in my inventory? Exactly. Suddenly you feel like you've walked into a trap. And you are the perfect person to get me those spores. She nods rapidly. Think about it. You built the still. You're great with plants. You know the eye like the back of your hand. You gonna go on? Are you flattering me? Oh, Tala. If it's working, then yes? She grins sheepishly. Look, I can't leave the bar. And the other people picking up shifts. I'm saying it has to be you. Fine. Wonderful. You'll love it over on the Greenway, I think. All that fresh air, open space. You see your expression. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. She turns back to look at the still, and the fledgling distillery forming around it. It really is something though, isn't it? And want to or not, you really have to agree. Alright, how many spores do you need? 3? Makes sense. Sasaga. Okay. Bedtime today. Oh shit! It hits you like a wave. A white-edged breaker roaring inland with the force of the entire ocean. The impact is a screaming brightness, blanking out everything. Behind it is silence. You float in silence, suspended. No, you do not float. You are the silence. It's filled you up. It has emptied you out. You cease to exist. Time passes, though you do not feel it passing. Hi, last darling. Where you been? 2 hours in. It's okay. I see. You're here because it's Bayonetta time. You don't want to know about growing mushrooms. You want to see a woman do flips and shoot angels with her feet. Something flickers in the silence, and then something moves. That something is you. You open your eyes to a metal ceiling of flickering lights. You feel the floor around you, patting it with shaking hands. You assemble an image of yourself lying on your back in a corridor. You shake off the silence and sit up. What was that? You glance around, looking for some sign of change. Damage on the walls, shouts in the distance, fire and fear. Nothing has changed. The silence sits around you like fog. You try to think, furrowing your brow. How do you think again? It doesn't seem so easy anymore. You force the pathways to light up, the data banks to grant access. You feel like a fraction drive starting up after a long shutdown in cold vacuum. In the wave. You was gaming? Oh, it is. It do be Friday. Session 0 prep for a cool stream you're going to be part of in 48 hours? Less than? Ooh! I can drop that link in the Discord. When it occurs. You feel like a fraction drive starting up after a long shutdown in a cold vacuum. In the wave. The wave, don't stop. In the wave was just noise. Just as the sound produced by a wave raking across a pebble beach represents trillions of impacts heard as a single roar, so this sound was the result of trillions of electrons flickering in place, heard as a single impossible scream. A memory image comes to you, one from the moments before the wave hit. You squint as you imagine it, trying to cohere its blurry form. A broken skeletal ring, the eye, and then a vast arc approaching it, a razor-edged white curve. The wave. The wave approaches the eye. The eye spins, turning each part to face that vast white edge. You recognize their skeletal data cloud forms. The bright market, the low end, the greenway, the wastes. Then, the wave hits just as the flotilla, Cordon turns to face it. And after that, everything is silence. You open your eyes again. That is the epicenter. Of what? Of what indeed? That sounds super exciting and like a bunch of cool shit's gonna happen in part 2 of the DLC extra missions. Damn. Well, we'll see it next time. Because now it's break time, and then it's Bayonetta time. I should actually stay in this because the music's better. I'm gonna leave the music on this for a bit. Alright. Quick break. I'll have a little snack. I'll have a little piss. I'll have a little water. Maybe a little Pepsi. There it is. Alright. BRB in some amount of time. For Bayonetta. I'm gonna feed this needy cat. He keeps trying to stab me. Be a little fuck.